Ave, you bastards. Well, today we're going a little bit Roman style for prepping, but before we're going to talk about what I got here, if you're interested in detective stories, there will be a link to my book called Bloody Crosses. It's in Dutch. If you're interested, take a look. So, as you can see, what do I have on my shoulder? I've been looking into some history again, and for some reason, I stumbled upon a part about Roman legionnaires, their kit, and what they had to wear what they have to carry when they had to go on a campaign. And a special thing about the Roman army and the reason why they are so successful is because they had a system that they were less reliant on long stretches of how do you say this, where they put where provisions and all this support that a long support line was sometimes not that possible or could not come in within a certain amount of days. So Roman legionnaires would take all their stuff with them, build an encampment, break it up, and go to the next part of the journey to wherever they go to battle or to an encampment or a province or whatever. But the point is, every Roman soldier had to carry their own kit, and this had made me realize what can we as a prepper learn from these Roman soldiers, their kit. And one of the things that I found interesting is the way that they carried their stuff, because these Roman soldiers did not have modern backpacks like we have, and the big difference is they carry their weapons in their hands or on their sides as a sword or for example or slings, that kind of stuff. But if they went on a march, so to say, they had actually just a pole with their kit attached to it. And yeah, that was a very interesting way, because if you look at it, and we can take some lessons from it, as a prepper, if you want to go on a bug out scenario, you want to take something with you fast, but you perhaps don't have the according to the situation, you can just take a few things and leave. Well, just like the Romans and also hobos from the in America from the 1900s, they had also a similar technique with a rucksack, knapsack on a pole, and Roman soldiers used it too. So as you can see, I carry a lot of stuff on this, but I can carry the basic stuff, and whenever there is danger, I can just toss it away and deal with the threat of the danger or run away if they are overwhelming. And that is what Roman soldiers would do. If they were ambushed, they don't have to take off their pack and take out their weapons and do the stuff. And it's not like modern soldiers where the kit is adapted to very high mobility and very small scale local conflict. So yeah, they had to be quick into everything, adapting, and that is actually a part of the success of Roman soldiers. They could adapt quickly to the situation. And yeah, I will talk about the kit now. As you can see, it is just a stick where I attach some of my parts of my bug out bag, and the most important parts we're going to talk about them in a minute. So first we got a pole. The pole that the Roman soldiers used was very long because they also had to build their tents with it, so like a pole, and they could build a shelter from it. And usually they could put multiple poles together so they can make a bigger tent with other soldiers. So yeah, this could be either be a pole, this could be a long pole, a walking stick, like in my case this is a walking stick, and it can also be used as tent pole for shelter, self-defense if it's needed, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I made a whole video about what all the things you can do with a walking stick. So a walking stick could be very handy. The only downside is that I notice is if you're going to put the stuff, we're going to check in a minute how you're going to put your stuff in on top of it and how quickly you can detach of it. The only downside is the shoulder part, because now instead of a backpack where all the weight is on the hips, but if you don't have a backpack or you have to improvise because it was stolen, and yeah, this is an improvised way to gather stuff, like with bags that you can attach to the pole, you have to put something on your shoulder, because if it's a big pole, the weight is more distributed onto your shoulder. But with this, I had to wrap my mesh cloth around it, so it's a protective layer to make it more bearable for a longer time. Because now you can walk around, but if you do 10 miles of this, your shoulder will hurt, or you have to switch up constantly with your shoulder. But it will eventually hurt, especially if you're not accustomed to it, if you are not accustomed to having put heavy shit on your shoulders. Yeah, you got to train a little bit for it, get used to it, and a little bit of comfort with. And the reason why I use a mesh is because I can use the mesh to gather stuff, but to put inside of it. But it's also useful, so it's not a loss. It's not an extra thing that you take with you. It's one of the essentials. So that's the downside. So as you can see, everything is attached to it. It might seem a little bit messy, but that is what I could gather on top of it in only a few minutes that I thought that I would need for an immediate bug out scenario. So you can take this off and you can just walk around, do your stuff, and it will keep staying together. If you have to climb on top of a mountain with both hands a little bit, you can use this apart as a walking stick, and you can grab on if you want to cross a small a river that is not too deep, or a body of water, or you have to climb a little bit like stairs or whatever. You can use this a little bit as for uneven terrain that you won't fall or lose your balance and get wounded. So that's another fun thing that you can do with this. I will put the camera a little bit lower so we can check out what stuff is on top of it. So you can just deploy it very fast again, and you're on the move again. So it's like a hobo technique that you can just skedaddle whenever there is trouble on the way. So let's take a look how we are going to support this. First of all, we're going from what the last things you put on top of it, then to the first things. So the first thing is just one of my dump pouch, and this has my my e-tool and my rain poncho. But as you can see, it's something that you can just put on, and it's on top of it, and you can take it off directly. It's not like a backpack, but you have to open it up, scouring around to find the item that you need. Everything is on on top of it. The next thing that I have here is my smaller bug out bag. And yet again, you can just take this off and attach it again on top of it, and yeah, it will rest on this piece. And it will be resting on the next piece. So this is my smaller bug out bag where everything is inside of it that I need. So, and now we have the woolen blanket. And you see, the woolen blanket is the lowest part, because the biggest part is resting against my back. It's a little bit softer. If it would be something like something harder like this, it could be annoying when you walk around and you swivel a little bit with your body. So this, if this rubs against your body, it's not that big of a problem. But what we got here is, I don't know if you can see it, this is now attached between the woolen blankets. Why? So there is a little bit of part pressing against my body, so it will not start to swivel too much around or getting loose. As you can see, it will stay in the middle most of the part, and it's just attached with one cord. So you can just, like a shoelace, shoelace, detach it. Yeah, I went a little bit overboard with the nut because I'm an idiot. But if you know your nuts a little bit better than me, you can create some nuts that are better taken off. So now you got a woolen blanket, aka shelter, aka a great kilt. I made a whole video about all the things you can do with this, and it's made out of wool, which retain 80% of its insulation value even when it's soaking wet. So that's the reason why I prefer a big woolen blanket instead of something smaller like a whoopee or something. And it was already attached to this. The pole has a cord on top of it, and on this cord is actually everything attached from the woolen blanket, and on top of this I can toss anything above it and it will stay in place because of this part where there is a hole and a cord holding everything together. The reason why also I have this is, if you're going to walk with this, it is like your hands can rest. It will not just slide all the way down. It's a little bit of a that you can have some hold on top of it if you're going to press yourself up. So, and yet again, now you got a pole. You can make a tent, a shelter with the rain poncho, a sleeping bag with the great kilt so you stay warm, and also some self-defense, some other stuff that you can do with this. And also another detail about this is, as you can see, this walking stick has these grooves inside of it. The reason why I like these grooves is, first of all, if you are going to, I know what some of you dirty people will think now, but some of these grooves can help some stuff from not slipping too much down. It creates some sort of how do you say this, resistance, that it will not slow down that easily. If you grab it with your hands, it will not just slip off. You have some more grip on top of it, and you can just put it back together as fast as not as fast perhaps. You need a little bit more time to, it's take a little bit more time to tie a knot than untie a knot perhaps, but it's something that you can just take in and out very fast. Can be used as an improvised way to put your stuff together. If you don't have a backpack, you lost your backpack, perhaps your backpack has been teared because of sharp branches, or perhaps some animal has clawed its way inside of it for food. Or you just lost your backpack. Can always happen, but this is just a way to do it. It is not the way, but it was good enough for Roman soldiers, which were successful in many of their endeavors, and also for hobos during the 1900s who had to improvise. So, like I said, it is not the way, but it is a way, and that is important for a prepper, that we know different ways for different situations with the different options that we have, or the tools or the stuff that we have at hand at the moment. It is about broadening your knowledge, your skills, your creativity to push through any situation. And that is also why I want to urge you, look into history and look how did certain people, groups, cultures did certain things or had a certain way of doing things in that period, in that place, at that moment, and for what reason. And is it still available or useful today in certain situations? So that is what I want to urge you about this whole video. Look into history and learn from other people, even if you think that they are outdated for 2000 years. So we can still learn from people from history before. I would say like, subscribe, all the good stuff, man, and see you in the next video. Cheers!